Welcome to this special edition of the Kids Books podcast by Eric Z of Z Books. I have with me today one of the warrior elite. He makes Bruce Lee look clumsy and James Bond look like a novice. So without further ado, please help me welcome Stuart Smith. Hey, Stu, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Eric. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, well, thanks for being here. I meant every word of that intro, too, because I just recently saw you on TV, and they put you in an ice-cold tank of water, and your core temperature went down. Your body temperature went down. I think you were in there for 20 minutes. I was watching your face and your muscles twitching. They took you out of this.
I was actually in there for an hour.
An hour?
Yes.
Yeah, and
yes.
Even your core temperature went down, which is deadly. And then they took you out of that tank, and you had to run an obstacle course and shoot a gun and hit the target. So
it was a pretty good show. That was a fun show.
But Bruce Lee never did that. James Bond never did that.
Well, hey, I'm not comparing myself to either of those.
Okay, but well, I am, because I think it's pretty superhuman performance, or maybe you can tell us about that. Is that normal for Navy SEALs?
I didn't have to train for that event. I think
really?
All the training that I've had, and also I did that when I was 40 too. So,
okay.
I hadn't been in the military for over 10 years at that time, and
wow.
But yeah, so. Through the training, I think you develop some abilities to handle cold water and still be able to function. And that show that you're talking about is called Fight Science, and it was on National Geographic. You can find it on YouTube if you do a little YouTube search on Stu Smith, Fight Science. And
that's exactly how I found it.
It's really cool. It was a fun show. So.
Yeah. I've been following you for a while, and we're kind of in the same book category. And but when I saw that show, I know, I got to call you. So you think any Navy SEAL could do that?
Yes, I don't think I did anything special.
Wow, that is why the SEALs are the elite warriors, right? So let's roll back a little, because I'm going way out of sequence.
That's all right.
Okay, so why did you join the SEALs? Did you always know you were going to be a SEAL as a kid?
No, I did not. You know what? I knew I wanted to be in the military pretty young, and as a kid, I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was recruited for football to play for Navy at the Naval Academy, and that was all about the same time as Top Gun came out. So I was like, you know what? Being a fighter pilot would be a pretty cool job, and playing college football would be something I want to do too. So it all kind of like fell into place. I wanted to serve, be a fighter pilot, and then go play football. And it wound up, I didn't play football. I actually wound up playing rugby. And 2 years into that, I saw the Navy SEAL instructor there at the Naval Academy, and started their workouts, and I just fell in love with it and started preparing myself for the last 2 years of the Naval Academy to go on to SEAL training. So I didn't really know about it until I was 20 years old.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, rugby is a pretty good prep too, isn't it? I remember seeing a bumper sticker in California, donate blood, play rugby.
It's pretty tough. I think if there's any skill that you get from playing rugby, it might be learning how to still play with pain. I think football is very similar to that as well, because you kind of know the difference between pain and injury.
Yeah.
When you're going through SEAL training, there's a lot of pain, and a lot of people will quit at that pain because they might think it's injury. But if you're able to play with pain, that tends to be a good quality to have when you're able to endure some of the long days of SEAL training.
So this brings up one of my favorite questions. So what's the difference between SEAL discipline and like the normal military discipline? You were just kind of alluding to it, to breaking through the pain.
Oh, you know what? I don't think there's a whole lot of difference. It just may go into a different level of intensity. Because I think the military discipline is something that will help you in the long run when your motivation fades. Because everybody's motivated to go be a SEAL, right? Or
Right.
whatever, whatever your goal is, everybody's motivated to go do that. However, on the days when you're not motivated, you have to rely on something else. And you're going to have to rely on that discipline. And that discipline of being persistent about training and working hard and, still keep moving, even though you're feeling tired and you're feeling achy and in pain, that discipline to keep moving forward and habit building is probably the key. And I think all military people have that, when you're in the military. But like I said, the SEALs might take it to another level.
So that's exactly what I want to know, because some of the kids that read my books, they think it's all, Hollywood style in the movies, and it's all just guns and glory. So can you expand on that a bit? Is it good times, bad times? How much do you really got to
Well,
push
I
yourself?
will tell you this, through the training, you have to push yourself very hard. I mean, to the point of near exhaustion, and past that. Then once you're into the SEAL program, it's still physically challenging, but it is also tactically challenging. I mean, you have to be able to work with others. You have to be a good team player, and you have to be able to handle, technology, satellite communications, and weapon systems, and scuba systems. All of those things that are highly technical. That require some brain power too. So, being a good student in school is very important.
Right.
Learning to be a team player, very important. And, those skills, when people ask me, what can I do to become a Navy SEAL? I say, go to school, be a good student, and, go do a sport or something that, requires you to work with others and, with a common goal. Because you'll be doing that in any military job, and especially in the Navy SEAL job, if that's what you so choose.
Right. That sounds a lot like football.
Yeah, I mean that is a sport that requires exactly that. You're in a 11-man mission to get that ball down the field, and when you're in a SEAL platoon, you got to about the similar numbers that you are required to do this mission and get it done. So anyway, it's very similar, very very similar skill set. So that's what I usually recommend for young kids thinking about that.
Okay, so besides football and that, do you think how young should a kid train and start or doing extra training besides the normal stuff that kids do, like playing football?
Yeah, my number one choice, or my number one recommendation for kids is to one, go do something you choose. Like, I mean, go have fun doing something you like. Don't just do it because you heard a Navy SEAL did it. Go do something, a sport you like. And it can be any sport. It can be cross country, swimming, it can be martial arts, it can be football, baseball, wrestling, basketball, you name it. It can be anything. And have fun doing that, and have fun being a team player on those sports. And then, the off season and in between sports or during the summers, then you can start playing around with some of the, Navy SEAL type workouts where you really have to get good at push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups and running and swimming. Maybe take some swim lessons just to get a little more comfortable in the water. Those are great skills to take, with you.
So this sounds like fun at any age.
Well, absolutely. I still do it, and I love it.
Cool. Yeah. And you just mentioned martial arts. What kind of martial arts training do you get in the Navy SEALs?
Well, it has evolved through the years, but it's a mix. I would say my best way to explain it would be probably like a mixed martial arts type program. Where you get a little bit of everything. You know how to punch, you learn how to kick, you learn how to choke, and arm manipulation and leg manipulation, so joint locks and things like that. So
Right.
you learn a little bit of the grappling as well as the punching and kicking.
But do you get really proficient at it, or do they just show you some moves and then say, okay, you learn the rest in combat?
No. You have to get pretty proficient at it. And, you get to a level where you get good at a lot of things. You may not be great at any one thing. Or I should say you might be great at one thing, but then you get good at everything else. You can't be great at everything.
Right.
When I say great, I'm talking about world-class gold medal great.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to be a world-class gold medalist swimmer to become a Navy SEAL. You need to be good at swimming. You need to be confident at swimming.
Yeah.
You just need to be able to do it. You don't need to be world-class in anything.
So what was your job or specialty in the SEALs?
Well, because I graduated from the Naval Academy, I became an officer. So I was a SEAL platoon commander.
Right.
In there. So I was in charge of a group of SEALs. And, even when you're young and you're kind of inexperienced and you're learning your job, you rely on, the veteran, chiefs and petty officers that are in your platoon to help you. And you have to be a good communicator and, a good listener and, and take everybody's advice because you're in it as a team. I kind of compare it to like the rookie quarterback on a football team, pro football team.
Right.
He's brand new into the league, but his job by position is to move that ball down the field and be in charge of that group. However, he can't do it without his veteran linemen and his veteran receivers and fullback,
Right.
So
Right.
It's very similar to that type of position.
And what was it called?
What do you mean?
Platoon leader?
Yeah, platoon commander, platoon leader. Yep.
Isn't that what Jocko Willink was?
Yes. Yep. He was
How
an
did you,
officer as well.
Were you in the same era or same?
No, I'm a little bit older. So I was actually serving from 91 until 99. So I got out in 99. So I did about 8 years in.
Yeah. I read his book, Extreme Ownership, and it sounds a lot like what you just said. And you guys were the same rank, I assume, or the same job. And
yes.
Yeah.
Just different times.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how did you then become a fitness specialist?
Well, you know what? I have always been a good writer.
Okay.
Ever since I was a kid, I knew I would probably be a writer at one point. And I just didn't know what to write about. So I wrote about the next thing that I love to do, and that's fitness. And, so getting a little more education in that and some training and then kind of becoming a coach. And now I, work out and write about it, but I specialize specifically in military, law enforcement, and firefighter fitness. So it's kind of like my own little genre that they actually call tactical fitness now, as opposed to, a specific athletic style fitness. So this is getting good at everything, but not being great at anything. Kind of like a jack of all trades, but master of none. So you got to take a guy who comes in and might be a great football player, but he can't run very far or he can't swim. So now you got to take that strength that he brings into the table and give him some more muscle endurance and some more endurance. And then you combine it into a guy that is now capable of passing whatever military job that he's going for. So that's kind of the evolution of the way, most of my guys who come train with me move.
Yeah, you got cut off a little bit there. I don't know if that's my computer or yours, but sounds good. Is there a tactical fitness? Is there a, what do you call it? A succinct definition of that?
Yeah, it's pretty much any job that you have that's military, law enforcement, firefighter that requires you to be able to save yourself, save others, and you're basically between life or death situations depends on your fitness. So it's not about winning games. It's about living the next day.
Yeah.
So we take fitness that seriously.
So that brings up things like your morning routine. And what do you do when you can't work out?
Stretch.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you on the road a lot?
If I can't do anything, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
When I can't do anything, I will consider it a rest day, and I will just stretch.
Do you have a morning routine?
Oh yeah, I usually work out at least 5 days a week, mostly 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
On those days that I don't work out, I just stretch or walk and just kind of relax. But yeah, 6 days a week. First thing in the morning, I work out.
Mm-hmm.
That's my morning routine. I wake
Mm-hmm.
up before 6. And
are you in the 4 o'clock club like Jocko?
No, I'm about the 5:30 club.
Oh, that's early enough.
Yeah, 5:30 is
Yeah.
plenty for me. About 5:15 actually. So
Yeah.
he has me by at least 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But I'm there.
Right on.
So we'll lift weights, we'll do calisthenics for a little bit, go for a run, and then we'll finish it off with a swim from like 7 o'clock until 8 o'clock. So we work out from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. just about every day.
And we is your students?
Yep, students and myself. Yeah,
and then you go and teach the course all day long.
Well, then like I said, I'm a writer. So I
Okay.
work out and write about it, and I write articles for various websites like military.com,
Mm-hmm.
The Balance, my own website, stewsmith.com. And that's pretty much it. I have a publisher where
Mm-hmm.
I have books that we're publishing. Got a couple more coming out
Right.
this year.
So you're not self-published?
I do both.
Oh, okay, yep. Cool.
Yep. I have a publisher that published my first ones. I probably got about 8 through him. Mm-hmm. And then I've self-published over 40.
Wow.
Mainly because there's no publisher that's going to publish them, because there's not any publisher that wants to publish something specific for one very mm-hmm. small group. So like my FBI fitness test workout, right?
Uh-huh.
Workout to help people.
Sounds cool to me.
Yeah, it helps people pass that FBI fitness test. But,
yeah.
It's not a lot of people. A publisher looks at it like, well, there's only 4,000 people that, become mm-hmm. FBI agents every year. That's not a lot of books. Yeah. However, I don't look at it that way. I look at the 100,000 people who are applying.
Right.
And I go after those guys. So I'd much rather do that. I actually make more money on my self-published books than my published.
I was just going to ask you that, because that's the $64,000 question. You have a pretty awesome book palette, and all of those indie authors are out there, thinking, people dream of getting published with a publisher. But why, when they take like 80% to 90%?
At least.
Yeah. And you can make more. And so that's why, so you just basically confirmed that you make more with your self-published books.
Oh, absolutely.
Interesting. Is it because you published more of them, or because of the ratio, what do you call it, the cut that they take?
Mainly the cut that they take.
Yeah.
I have individual, self-published books that do much better than, mm-hmm. not only sales, but also just, keeping 99% of it, because it's mm-hmm. all I got to do is pay a, credit card fee. For that's my only expense. So
do you have a specific marketing tactic or strategy?
Yeah. I try to hit all forms of media. I've realized a long time mm-hmm. ago that you can't be a guy selling fitness. You have to be a media company that sells fitness. You can't be a real estate agent. You can't be a real estate agent that sells real estate. You have to be a media company that sells real estate.
But then you're balancing yourself between all the different channels.
Yep. You have to do that. You have social media, you have mm-hmm. print media, mm-hmm. Whether it's magazines or you got digital media, with a variety of those, from YouTube videos to mm-hmm. Articles online. And, of course you got, local newspapers. You can, mm-hmm. get involved with that, offering a free. And the big thing is just about content, and make content for people. And that's really what I do. So I'll write an article. It gets sent out all over the place. People see it and they see my link to my store and come to the mm-hmm. store. So it's mostly about creating content that mm-hmm. I know that I write for the tactical audience. So they read that and they come back into, the tactical fitness store and see all the different options that they can get. So, but it's website, books, ebooks, video, YouTube channels, social media is really big. You can do social media advertising as well. That's really good to do. Yeah.
So that kind of answered my other question. What does the Navy SEAL do after the Navy SEALs? You become a successful author.
Nah, well, that's one of a few things, I guess. But I mean, I got buddies of mine that are doctors, that are lawyers, that are inventors, businessmen working on Wall Street. So it's pretty much whatever they put their mind to. I will tell you this. After you go through Hell Week, you truly leave that training and that. When you leave the military, you truly leave there with a feeling of like, you know what? I don't think there's going to be anything harder in my life than that. And I think I can endure just about anything. So you do leave there with a little bit of confidence that, if you need to pull an all-nighter and stay up all night to get something done, you can.
Yeah. Do you guys still have to swim around the island for the test or the buds?
No, not the whole island. There is a round the world paddle. We call it, where you actually have a boat and you have to paddle. You and your boat crew have to paddle the boat all the way around Coronado Island. But you don't have to swim around it.
Oh, I thought you had to swim around it.
No, you do have to do a 6-mile swim though.
Well, that's tough.
Yeah, around the island. I'm not sure how far that would be, but it's probably closer to 10 or 12 miles with the paddle. So it's a long paddle. It takes 12 hours just about to do.
And is that a test?
No, it's just a Hell Week event.
Okay. It's just an event you do for fun, huh?
You don't do it for fun.
I don't know. I wouldn't say so.
Yeah.
Can you tell us of your adventures as a SEAL?
You know what? Not a whole lot. But I will say this: it was a different world before 9/11. Probably not many of your people who buy your books, especially if they're younger, thoroughly understand the difference between what happened after 9/11 and before 9/11. It was relatively quiet. I mean, there were things that would pop up every now and then, and we were in the Mediterranean a lot. That's never a stable area. In the Adriatic when Bosnia was, getting kind of hot and all that. And Northern Africa is always a issue.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's, it was just a different time. It wasn't quite the same as, going to Iraq or Afghanistan and hunting down people. It was a little more subversive.
Yeah.
And, intelligence.
I remember that.
Things like that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
I remember that well because I had just moved to Europe in the 90s and Clinton was president and everything was going down in Yugoslavia. They shot down an F-117 stealth fighter. And I don't know if it was the Navy SEALs or the Air Force. It
was the Marines that got them.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
We were there. The Marines picked them up.
Yeah.
In broad daylight. So
crazy, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I read about it, how he hid and he had a hard time, the pilot.
Yeah. They got him. That was good. Good mission.
Yeah. So, I heard Jocko Willink in his book talking about it as the dry years before his time, but it doesn't mean you didn't get any action.
No. Well, I tell you what, if you had to compare the two decades, it's night and day.
Okay.
People were getting out of the military in the 90s because it was boring. People were getting out of the military in the 2000s because they're overworked.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different world.
Yeah. Okay. So getting back to the kids, what are some books of yours that you would recommend the kids to try first?
Well, mine are fairly advanced. If they're early teens, they could definitely handle one of my beginner workouts, one of maybe my phase 1 Navy SEAL workout, which is it's not for true beginners, but it's for beginners in that that process. If you've already been an athlete for a while and you're, trying to transition into Navy SEAL type training, that's a perfect one.
What's it called?
Just Navy SEAL Phase 1.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the Phase 2 and 3 is a little harder, and the Phase 4 is really hard. So it's a progression. There's a couple other ones in there. There's a circuit training workout that's really good, and there's an obstacle course workout that's really good. So if kids want to do something that's kind of military-ish, when they get a little older, maybe 16, try out for those obstacle course races, like the Spartan races and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good idea to, try to get used to those type of workouts and programs.
So we can Google that, Spartan races. Huh?
Oh, yeah, there's so many of them. They're just OCR, stands for obstacle course racing. So,
okay. Yep. Because I was going to ask you, what's the most effective exercise or routine for a young kid if they can't go to OCR yet, or at home to start out?
You know what? Whatever their sport is, and then do the opposite. And what I mean by that is, if you're a runner, you need to go swimming. If you're a swimmer, you need to go run. If you're a weightlifter, you need to go do high rep calisthenics. So it's but you don't mix them all together. So there's a time to do that. So when you're in season, you focus on your sport. When you're out of season, you can kind of play around with some Navy SEAL stuff, because it's going to make you a better athlete also.
So there's a challenge right there. How do you motivate the kids to do the opposite?
That's the tough part, because they have to be mature enough to realize it's a weakness. Because here's the problem with SEAL training. Within about 30 minutes of you showing up at SEAL training, you will realize you have a weakness in something. Because all different athletes have a weakness. And if they don't tactically prepare, and what I mean by that is, take whatever athletic ability they have and they turn it into a tactical athlete, where, like I said, you're good at everything, you're just not great at one thing, right? Because if you think about Michael Phelps, great swimmer, right? Everybody knows Michael Phelps, great swimmer.
100 gold medals.
Right. You put him in the water, he'll win, right? However, you put him on land, he may not win, right? Put some speed and agility, he may not win. You put a boat on his head or a log on his shoulder, he may start getting crushed. So there are some elements of fitness that the swimmer would lack. Like he's going to have all the endurance, so that's good, but he might not be able to run because he's not used to gravity and the impact of running. He's not used to strength training to a degree where he's going to get bigger and stronger, right? So he may lack some upper body strength or some leg strength. So all those things, you have to be mature enough to understand, I have a weakness in this, and you have to be good at everything. And when I say good at everything, you need to be a good runner, a good swimmer. You have to have strong upper body, and you need to have, sturdy legs too, that, you can actually lift weights and you can actually run or carry backpacks on your back and logs on your shoulder and boats on your head. Now, you don't need to do that when you're 16, but by lifting weights, you start building that foundation of strength that will help you in the long run. Now, if all you do is lift weights, you're going to need to run, and you're going to need to swim more. You need to do more calisthenics. So everybody has a weakness. So what I try to do as a coach to guys that want to be in the military is teach them about, how to be a tactical athlete, which means you just have to be good at all the elements of fitness, not just one or two.
Right. I think you said it really well. Be mature enough to understand, or you will realize it's a weakness.
Yes.
And so I have a 9-year-old son and a 2-year-old son, and I'm going to try that on them. We'll see what happens.
That might be a little young.
Well, they've got attitudes. They're young, but they've got attitudes, I tell you.
Gotcha.
So tell us about you've been talking about it actually, but was there any one specific toughest challenge or the toughest moment, or where I heard there's a bell, you can ring it when you're ready if you want to quit?
Yeah, there is. But you know what? Here's the mindset you have to go into. One, you have to take a couple of years and thoroughly prepare yourself for what you're getting into.
Wow, a couple of years, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's significant. And like I said, and this isn't just 2 years of starting to work out. This is, after a lifetime of athletics and sports, and then you say, all right, I'm going to change all this, and now I'm going to be a tactical athlete and be prepared for military and SEAL training, right? You take 2 extra years to do that. And, or like I said, 1 to 2 years. It just depends on your abilities. Some guys can do it faster. And then, you focus on basically just getting through the training. And, I mean, it's pretty tough, so, So
have you seen a lot of, or any cases where, maybe somebody's was underdeveloped physically, but they were so mentally strong they made it, and the guys that were like I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I've seen guys that you would look at them and say on day one, man, there's no way that guy's going to make it. He is just scrawny, right? And, but somehow he just guts through everything. And every day is a gut check, and every day is a mental challenge because he has to engage mental toughness to get through every event. Whereas, if you go there very, very prepared, you might not have to engage mental toughness until later down the road. If you have to do it every single day, it's a tough road to hoe. However, for the guys that are really overdeveloped, like you were saying, and maybe not mentally tough as it could be, I've seen guys that look like the perfect student not make it, and guys that don't look like the perfect student make it just from pure guts.
Right on. So it's 99% mental.
I would say that.
Okay.
I mean, some people say it's 80% mental, 20% physical. I mean, there's all kinds of sayings out there that what it is. But I would say this: it is so physical that it becomes mental. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't want to really distill it down to one sentence, because I don't want people to think it's easy. You just have to think your way through, not at all.
And that's not mental, academic mental. That is pure mental toughness and resilience mental.
Yeah. All right. So what do you have in your pockets right now?
Not a thing.
No, what? No 9mm?
Nope. I'm wearing swim trunks and I'm about to go swimming.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I got 100 questions here. I got some. Okay. So if you had to do it all over again, what would you do different?
I would have run more. Yes. I tell people all the time. I tell people all the time that I never once wished I'd lifted more weights, I'd done more pull-ups or anything like that. I just wish I would have run a little bit harder as I was transitioning from a powerlifting football player guy. But you know what? Traditionally, that's going to be the powerlifting football player weakness anyway. And I will attest to that it was.
I thought you were a quarterback.
No, I was a linebacker.
Okay, the big guy.
So
okay. I was looking at your blog. Like I said, I've been following you for years, but a goal without a plan is just a wish. That really stands out. And could you expand on that a bit?
You know what? I don't know who said that.
It's your blog.
I didn't make it up. I saw that and I said, like, man, that is really good. But it's so true. Just a wish. And you need a plan. And that's kind of what I do. Like if you look at my website, you will see whether it's an article or it's an ebook or it's a book or it's a video, there's always a plan involved in achieving goals. That might be a 6-week plan. It might be a 12-week plan. It could be a full year-long plan, whatever it takes. But that's, you got to have a plan, but then having a plan isn't enough. You have to do the plan.
There's a lot of talk nowadays about systems instead of goals. One of my favorite authors, Scott Adams from Dilbert. So I was thinking maybe there's something about systems in there.
Yeah,
but,
you could think of it that way. Systems, goals, definitely, yeah.
So what is your favorite sidearm?
Well, I like the SIG.
226?
226, one of my favorites. Shot so much out of that it's, it feels like part of my hand.
Yeah.
The MP5 is a classic, and I like the new M4 too. That's a good one too. That's a fun one to play around with. So
The new M4.
yeah, I mean it's new to me. I mean when we were shooting that type of weapon, we still called it a Car 15.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still saying M16.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. M16. Yeah, we started off with the M16, with the Car 15, and now it's the M4.
The M4. Now I know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What's coming up for you? I mean, you got a lot on your plate already. Any new projects?
You know what? We're still moving with these podcasts that we're doing. Got
Yeah.
them on YouTube, and it's called the Tactical Fitness Report on YouTube and Google Play and iTunes. It's a free podcast. And then writing books. Still, my next book is called The Warrior Workouts, and it's 100 of my favorite workouts. And it's a 3-part series, and one of them's my favorite workouts. Another one's a system of workouts that kind of breaking down into 4 different quarters of the year. And then the next one is the third group of that one is going to be 100 workouts that are previously published in books. And we're going to call it Stu's Greatest Hits.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the Warrior Workouts, my next trilogy.
And when's that coming out?
This year. Yeah, the first one's coming out this year, and the next 2 will be coming out in the next 6 months.
All right, yeah, that's only 2 months, so you're going to make it before Christmas, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the plan.
So, nice. So, what's your number one tip for kids that want to become a SEAL?
Well, I reiterate this. The biggest thing is go learn how to be a team player. Work hard in school, make good grades, stay off of drugs. I have a website article called Navy SEAL Prep, and it's an article dedicated to early teenage kids who want to be SEALs.
Excellent.
Yeah, if you do a Google search, Stu Smith Navy SEAL Prep, you'll see an article that pops up, and it's all those things. You can't do just one thing. It's you got to be a good student, good athlete of some sort. It doesn't have to be a team. It doesn't have to be a sports team like in high school. It can be, a club, it can be a swim club, can be a martial arts dojo, whatever. Just get out and do something hard and something physical. Could be work. You might have to work after school. That builds some serious resilience. If you're doing things like that. So regardless, learn how to be a team player, whether it's part of a team, whether it's part of your family, you're helping them work, and make money to pay the bills, whatever that is, being a team player is critical to your ability to thrive, in a military setting.
Great. So where, you just said it actually, but where can we reach you? Any specific post or website?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, Stu Smith. My website is stewsmith.com. I'm on Instagram, StuSmith50. And Twitter at Stu Smith. So, social media, you can find me definitely if you guys want to do that. YouTube.
I will put it in the show notes. I'm going to make some posts, and I will put the links in the show notes.
Yeah.
And but what was that one you said? Prep. The one webpage.
Navy SEAL Prep. I'll send you the links to everything.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Stu, thank you so much for your time.
Not a problem.
And my kids appreciate it. My readers appreciate it for sure. And
cool.
It's been great. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right. Keep in touch.